This morning inside your spotlight, I want to feature the Chief Executive Officer at iGovTT, Dr. Inshan Meahjohn, and Mr. Irwin Williams, who's the Head of Software Development at iGovTT as well. This morning we chat about cybersecurity, the investment tax allowance, and the management system behind it all. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning, morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Good,
Excellent.
thanks.
All right, so first of all, let me start with you, Dr. Meahjohn.
Yes.
Tell me about the role of iGovTT over the past 15 years that you all have been operating.
So iGovTT is the National Information Communication Technology Company. That's why we shortened it to iGovTT. And we have been inextricably linked in the digital landscape of this country for the last 15 years. We currently serve 177 ministries, departments, and agencies within the government for all their IT needs, including procurement, very large ones. We have probably 275 million in procurement, over 200 million in terms of contracts. We do business transformation, we do consultancy. Irwin does software development. We have a team that does that. Of course, we'll be talking about cybersecurity. So anything in that realm, we are involved in. The mission of the company is to be a trusted partner of choice and to be a digital transformation company. We currently run under the auspices of the Ministry of Digital Transformation. Senator the Honorable Hasselbachus is our minister, and he is pushing a lot of great initiatives. We're supporting that.
Fantastic. And you've been supporting other ministries like you would have mentioned. So
Yes,
all the
we do.
things that we've been seeing and we say, oh, this is just a cool addition to the ministry. This is a cool convenience to be able to not have to go in. We could just fill out the forms and deposit them. That's all part of what iGovTT has been working on. Yeah?
So a good example would be that you would want to apply for your passport.
Right.
You would use e-appointments. That's iGovTT.
Fantastic.
But, so we use Powered by iGovTT because you don't know many times that we're behind it.
Nice. That's fantastic. So then tell me a little bit, Mr. Williams, about CITA. What is CITA and why is cybersecurity so important?
Right, so CITA stands for the Cybersecurity Investment Tax Allowance, right? And so when the Minister of Finance announced this allowance last in the budget, he indicated iGovTT would be the agency that coordinates and essentially approves when people make requests for these allowances.
Okay.
So
Well, you have the expertise in the matter, right?
Exactly. We're one of the agencies that, well, cybersecurity is a stock in trade for us. We need to ensure the systems we propose, these projects we build, they all have the appropriate resilience around them. So cybersecurity is a thing. You'd have heard about the hacks up to last year. Even this year, a number of
TT Postgirl or something this year too.
agencies
Yeah.
and state agencies have been hacked as well, but not just state agencies, private citizens,
yeah.
private businesses have been under the gun of these sometimes multinational, many times multinational actors who are intent on undermining and then taking advantage of our citizens and our businesses. So the point of the allowance is to allow businesses in particular locally to recognize anything they do in terms of investments for cybersecurity, our government is backing them really. So this particular allowance is up to the tune of $500,000. For many businesses, that's a big deal because unfortunately, cybersecurity is not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind for them when they're thinking about IT spend. It's what servers you need, what websites you need, and now you could buy antivirus solutions, you could buy network monitoring solutions, you could get new firewalls in place, and essentially it raises the bar for cybersecurity for businesses to ensure that they're putting their best foot forward as it relates to their presence online.
I want you to explain to the businesses that might be tuned in this morning, why is it important to have cybersecurity? Why is it important for you to be safe in that realm?
So essentially, it's about protecting your investments. You are essentially transforming your businesses a lot of times. You're making yourself more available, more accessible. So it means sharing some of your vital information online, making sure your products look the best way, all the things related to modern business today. Many businesses need to be online to operate. And so once you go out there, how do you ensure that what you've put out there is safe? How do you ensure your customers can rely on you and trust you? That typically is what cybersecurity is protecting and defending. So having a strong cybersecurity footing allows your customers and everyone else who works with you to be assured when they talk to you, they're talking to you as opposed to some bad actor.
Okay, makes sense. Dr. Meahjohn, tell me who qualifies for CITA?
So any company registered within Trinidad and Tobago qualifies for CITA. So you can be a small, medium, or large company. I give an example at the launch. I created a person called Wendy. So Wendy lives in the East. She has a little Montessori school. She runs it well. Everybody loves Wendy. Wendy clicked on a phishing link. And if you don't know what that is, it's an email that has malicious code that you think it's authentic.
Win $1 million.
You win $1 million, or simply it could be sign this invoice, right?
Okay.
And you click on it and it takes out your system. Wendy then lost reputation. she lost her business and she had to close it down because of that. So what this allows Wendy and everybody else to do, you can be a large multinational or small, protect your business, please. Just to give you some quick statistics, the World Economic Forum expects by 2025 next year that this is going to cost the world $10.5 trillion US dollars.
Wait, what is costing the world 10.5 trillion?
Cybersecurity and cyber crime.
Oh.
Right? 10.5 trillion.
That's a big money
The
business.
world GDP is 100 trillion. That's 10%.
Yeah.
So it's critical. Some other quick statistics for you. So there are approximately 5.2 billion people that are internet users in the globe. 5 billion are social media users. Trinidad, 1.21 million people online. 1 million social media users. 1.93 million people have a cell phone. So we have 125%. That means the threat landscape is large, and bad actors can jump into that landscape, and that's why it's lucrative for them.
Mr. Williams, over the years, I've heard different rumors when it comes to things like cybersecurity. So you would have mentioned phishing. People, in theory, say that, for example, Macintosh computers may not fall victim to some of those phishing scams as easy as a Windows computer might. How would you respond to those things?
So it's a little more nuanced than that, right? It used to be rarely when people spoke about cybersecurity and in terms of things like antivirus in particular. That's a big thing. Once you have antivirus, you're good, you're safe.
Yeah.
Most attacks happen via the browser these days, even via your phone. So the idea that, well, I have a Mac or Windows and therefore I'm safe is no longer really the case. Because they're going through the internet, they're going through your email. Clicking on a link, as Dr. Meahjohn mentioned, could cause you a world of problems, whether you're on your phone, whether you're in a browser, or somewhere else. And so you need to be mindful that there is no easy, safe harbor if you don't deliberately put things in place. And that's what this is about, being deliberate.
What does it take to develop a service like this?
Well, some expertise, some experience. Thankfully, when the minister reached out, when he made the statement about who would support this, we were already building document verification systems. One key thing about this is you need to come to iGov's physical office to submit your documents. Everything is online at the portal. It's CITA, CITA.gov.tt. You can go there, fill out the documents, upload everything you need to upload, receipts and purchase orders, all that wonderful stuff. And our team will then jump into it. Everything is virtual, send feedback to you if they need to. Here's the nice thing about it. When the allowance is done and you receive a certificate, it's a virtual certificate, but it comes with assurance. It comes with a little QR code. You can scan the code and confirm it comes from iGovTT. So we bake in assurance into the system, demonstrating what we mean by stronger cybersecurity footprints.
Okay, understood. And I heard in the Delvin Deeper interview last night, you mentioned that this is all developed right here in Trinidad and Tobago. As in, we do the coding and everything.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
How long have you been able to do that?
So, not to date myself, I'm doing it for a little while, a decade or two.
Right.
But our team is diverse. We have very, very young people just out of university. And in fact, our website was recently updated. One of the key persons who worked in it probably finished school a year or two ago. But we also have persons who've been working for a long time in this space and providing solid, reliable solutions to the government. In terms of software, because of how the industry continues to grow, is always making space for new persons to come in and provide their value and allow us to all build together. We built everything from scratch, but it wasn't our first time building. We leveraged that experience to build the best thing we could build for the nation.
And I understand we've been doing some collaborations as well with some foreign governments. Tell me a little bit about the collaborations, Dr.
No
Meahjohn.
problem. So we work on large projects. So currently we're working on a project called IOP. So it's interoperability, which really allows a ministry or a department or agency to speak to the other one, right? We call it a rail, or you can think of it as a highway.
And we call it a dream come true because we've been asking for this for decades now.
There you go.
So I mean, that's a great point. And the things we're working with the government of Estonia, and they have done a lot. They are one of the leaders in the world when it comes to that. We're working with the government of India and several other projects. Everything that we're doing is for citizen delivery, citizen experience, and reducing your time. Your time is the most important thing to you. If we can give you back some, we think we've won. We continue to do it, and we'll continue to do it.
All right. Tell me some of the big takeaways from this project.
One, like you mentioned, we build this locally. Oftentimes you wonder, can we do anything here ourselves? And the fact is we did this, our team built this. Thankfully, it was leveraging previous work. And that's the next thing. Sometimes we hear or a new initiative is happening, we do give it a chance to grow or allow us to learn from it. I think our previous learnings set us up for future success. And so this is one of the examples of that. Related to this, we have a number of projects coming. Every year, if you look at iGov's website and our news, you'd see we have projects that keep coming out that relate to building the country.
Yeah.
A big takeaway is the minister announced this in October in the budget. And in June this year, you're hearing it's available for businesses to use. I think that talks about our speed of work.
That's definitely a significant step, because oftentimes when you talk about developing software, it can take years for it to be developed and for it to be able to work properly.
Sure.
In terms of maintenance, because I know historically, in this beautiful Twin Island Republic,
Right.
we have a challenge when it comes to maintenance. We build beautiful things and then we watch it just decay. Is there a system in place, or have there been systems in place already at iGovTT to be able to maintain some of these initiatives that you're putting in place?
I actually want to draw a line from something called HackTT that happened in 2019, because two of our systems, e-appointment and employee TT, came from that.
Okay.
One was developed by the hackers in that hackathon. iGovTT took it over and applied enterprise thinking to it, made it proper, made it work, made it useful for the nation. And we continue to maintain it, because in software, there's this thing called being agile, meaning you respond to the challenges as it happens and you make improvements continuously. That's how we do it. So we see the launch of CITA as another one of our agile solutions that we'll continue to refine, add more things to it. And as citizens use it, it gives us feedback to make us improve it even more.
Most definitely. What can we expect from iGovTT in the near future?
So we have some very large projects that will help with simple, seamless, effective solutions. And we work with all the ministries. So we wouldn't want to preclude the ministry announcing what those are, but it's going to be in all the spheres of society. Everything that you interact with, digital transformation is going to allow us to help you.
And I feel like you had to give me at least a little example, because we've been talking about digital transformation. It's been one of those buzzwords. We have a whole ministry developed that recently developed that's supposed to facilitate digital transformation. People have been oftentimes asking online, well, what does that mean for the country? What does it actually mean? So yes, we see CITA as one of those things. We see the work that iGovTT has been doing. But can you explain in as layman term as possible so that everybody can understand what exactly we hope to achieve by the end of all this digital transformation?
So let's talk about, and Irwin mentioned it, the CSME.
Right.
Let's talk about that as an example. So usually you have to get your documents, you want to work in another Caribbean island, it takes a while. We've created for the CARICOM a platform that allows you to apply digitally.
Right.
So we heard from the initial statistics, 504 applications were received and being processed very quickly. Now that's a great percentage difference, right? So you can imagine you want to go to work in Antigua, it can happen very quickly. That's an example of a process that was operating, but the digital transformation was a whole host of things. He talked about digital credentials, the way that you do it, the security behind it, and the ability for the person behind the process to go through very quickly. That's going to happen, whether it's TTPS, whether it's the Ministry of Works and Transport, whether it is the Ministry of Health. You will be seeing these things coming through, and we are very excited about it.
I'm very excited about it too, because it means more integration, it means less wait time like you would have mentioned, and it means facilitating the national public generally. This is not a bacchanal question, right?
Sure.
How much does it cost to develop software? Right?
It's a real good question. It's not even a bacchanal question. I'll tell you this. Whatever you think you would pay outside of Trinidad, typically it's less in Trinidad. By that I mean, when you use local resources, when you use developers from Trinidad, it turns out to reduce your total cost of building the software.
Right.
Sometimes we think it's cheaper if I go in some other place.
India, for example,
or Eastern Europe. But what we have here as local developers, we have a sense of the environment, a sense of this national environment. And that often brings with it more understanding about why the software is important, what it's trying to accomplish. So generally, software can be expensive, but that expense turns out to be a part of a wider goal you have to bring in revenue or to reduce costs and things like that. And it turns out to be very beneficial once you take the right approach for it.
So it's more of an investment than a spend.
More of an investment. There you go.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning and
Sure.
for sharing this information. We definitely appreciate it. And I want to encourage the nation to head across to CITA.gov.tt and get more information about it and apply. For those of you so interested in Cybersecurity Investment Tax Allowance, you definitely need to head across and apply. And you should check it out for your business. Dr. Inshan Meahjohn, Chief Executive Officer at iGovTT, and Irwin Williams, Head of Software Development at iGovTT, joining us this morning to chat a little bit about it. So stay tuned. We have more coming up after this. Actually, we have TT Moves coming up after this, so stay tuned.